you sit down to change your life. Maybe it's work, maybe it's studying, maybe it's finally starting something you've been thinking about for months. But the moment you begin, your brain escapes. You suddenly want coffee, you check your phone, you clean your room for no reason, and after a while, you quietly tell yourself, maybe I'm just lazy. But what if that isn't true? What if you're not avoiding the task? What if you're emotionally avoiding your own life? Most people think procrastination is about discipline, but psychology shows something deeper. Your brain rarely avoids effort itself. It avoids the emotion connected to the effort, because meaningful actions carry emotional risk. If you try, you could fail. If you succeed, your life could change. If people notice you, they could judge you. And sometimes, your nervous system sees all of that as danger. This is why you can spend hours doing meaningless things while avoiding one important task for 10 minutes. The task isn't the problem. The emotion attached to it is. Behavioral psychology calls this emotional avoidance. Your brain learns to escape discomfort before it even fully appears. And over time, this becomes automatic, like a reflex. What makes this dangerous is that avoidance slowly becomes identity. You stop saying, I avoided this today, and start saying, I'm lazy. I never finish anything. I'm wasting my life. The behavior becomes personal, and the brain listens carefully to those identity statements, because your mind always tries to stay consistent with the person you believe you are. But here's the strange part. A lot of emotionally avoidant people are not careless. They actually care too much. That's the problem. The task matters so much that failure feels emotionally threatening. So the brain protects itself by delaying action, not because you don't want the future, but because part of you is afraid of what happens if the future becomes real. Think about it like this. Imagine your nervous system as an overprotective smoke alarm. A healthy smoke alarm reacts to real danger, but an oversensitive one reacts to harmless things too. Burning toast, steam, small heat. Your brain can do the same thing emotionally. Past embarrassment, criticism, rejection, or failure can train the nervous system to treat normal life situations as threats. So now, sending an email feels stressful. Starting a project feels overwhelming. Making decisions feels exhausting. Not because you're weak, because your brain learned that action can lead to emotional pain. And this is why motivation advice usually fails. People tell you to just push harder, but pressure increases stress, and stress increases avoidance. The brain changes through safety, not shame. So what actually helps? First, reduce the emotional weight of starting. Don't tell yourself to finish everything. Just begin small enough that your nervous system doesn't panic. Open the document. Write one sentence. Study for 5 minutes. Behavioral science calls this reducing activation energy. Small actions feel safe, and safe actions are repeatable. Second, stop turning behavior into identity. You are not a lazy person. You are someone who learns to avoid emotional discomfort. That is a behavior pattern, not your personality. And behaviors can change. Third, rebuild self-trust slowly. Every time you promise yourself something and don't do it, the brain loses trust in your own words. So, start making very small promises you can actually keep. Tiny completed actions matter more than giant plans. Because consistency teaches the brain, I can rely on myself again. The truth is, you were probably never lazy. You were overwhelmed, emotionally guarded, afraid of failing, afraid of changing, afraid your effort might finally mean something. And your brain tried protecting you the only way it knew how, by avoiding. But avoidance becomes a prison when it controls your entire life. So maybe the goal isn't becoming perfectly disciplined. Maybe the goal is becoming emotionally safe enough to finally participate in your own life. Because your future does not need a perfect version of you. It only needs a version of you that stops running away.